Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'll be doing a full face of makeup using Philippine makeup brands that I purchased from my Philippines haul. So without further ado, let's hop right into the video. The first item that I am going to try out is this makeup primer right here, and this one is from the brand FS, which is Features and Shades, and this says that it's a lightweight makeup base that flawlessly minimizes pores. This is what it looks like. So it's of that skin tone color, and it has a faint floral perfume scent. It instantly mattified my face, which is a good thing. And moving on to the eyebrows, I am going to use this precision blender from Everbilena, and this one is in the shade brown, and this is like a wooden pencil eyebrow brush. I'm going to try and fill in my brows using this. This eyebrow pencil is very creamy and very pigmented, so you only need a teeny tiny bit. And I love that this brush helps me blend everything. My only complaint is that the shade is a little bit too warm for my liking, and it doesn't really match my hair color, but all in all, for 85 pesos, this is a good eyebrow product. I'm going to set my eyebrows using this Jessie France Eyebrow Duo. The other shade has got the shimmers to it, and the other one's your regular eyebrow shade. The one looks like that it's a little bit fat. It doesn't have that wet consistency, which I don't really like because I find that it's hard to work with. So we're going to try the tone, which will be great on this part. So it just lightens your brows a little bit, so you get that fade. I'm not hating it, I'm not loving it. I am actually going to move on to the foundation. So I have this one right here from Pink Sugar, and this is our little secret foundation, and I find that you really have to mix this because the pigment tends to separate. I have the shade Medium Deep and Deep Beige. So Medium Deep is a little bit too light for me. Deep Beige is actually a little bit too orange. So I'm going to mix these two together to create my shade. I'm going to work one side at a time, and I don't want to apply too much because as I was swatching this foundation, it definitely dried a little bit too fast. So we'll work in sections. And this is a very matte foundation, which will be good if you have oily skin. And off the bat, it gave a light to buildable coverage. Obviously, I'm using a sponge, but if you use a brush, you'll definitely get the most out of the coverage. So that's actually pretty decent. So the finish of this foundation is very matte. As you can see, there is no sheen or shine or anything at all. It dries down to, for the most part, a powdery finish. I'm going to leave the coverage like that, but I feel like I could build it up a little bit more, so maybe we'll add a teeny tiny bit more. The shade is a little bit off because that's the closest that I find that has that warm undertone, which is a problem in Philippines because a lot of people tend to have makeup products that are like 3 shades lighter than the skin tone, and everyone uses whitening soap. Like, they don't really embrace their color. Not everyone, but majority of the products that they sell. So I'll just focus this on the areas that needs covering. I have a powder foundation to try, so I don't really need to put a lot of coverage, but first impression, this foundation is really nice. It has a very matte finish, and if you have an oily skin, this is a great foundation for you. I am going to move on to the concealer. I have a concealer stick in here, which, let's be honest, it's not gonna go well, especially if you're going to apply underneath the eyes. So what I'm going to do is apply this just over here and blend that up. So this one is from Fashion 21 in the shade Beige. It blends very smoothly into the skin because the concealer is a little bit creamy, and it's nice. It covered my dark circles for sure. I'm going to apply a little bit on my lids as well to prime my lids. They actually blended out really good. To set my face, I have a few powders here. So the first one that I'm going to use is this Nichido Final Powder, and this one is in the shade Ivory Glow. I've heard a lot of Filipino YouTubers raving about this powder. This one is very cheap. It's only 150 pesos, and this is what it looks like. Ooh, that's nice. It goes onto the skin very smoothly. I'm not gonna bake with this because the foundation that I use is already setting into a very matte finish. It reminds me of my Coty Airspun Loose Powder. The concealer is not very good because it already enhanced my lines. To further set the rest of my face, I am going to try this FS powder foundation, and this one is in the shade Toffee, and this has a very sleek packaging. So it comes with a mirror, comes with a sponge, which is great for touch up. So this powder can be used wet or dry, which is really good. So I'm just gonna go and use a dual fiber brush because I don't want to have like a intense powdery look since the foundation already set. It added a little bit of coverage to the areas that I want to cover. It's a little bit gray though on the pan, which is the main problem when it comes to face products in Philippines because they can never get it right for tan skin. To bronze a little bit, I have this exciting blush duo from Everbilena, and this one is in the shade Summer Fling. So this duo is matte. You have the bronzer and the blush, which is, ooh, it's popping. So the bronzer is a little bit red tone, which I don't really mind. It doesn't have a lot of kickback, and oh, that's pretty. And it doesn't have much pigment to it, which I like because you could actually control how much product you put. For the blush, I am going to try, and it looks very pigmented, so maybe I'll just do like a dab. Ooh, that's pretty. That's really pretty. I think I did it a little bit too much. So to contour, I'm actually quite nervous about this. I have this contour palette from Jazzy France. This is what it looks like. The colors honestly are not very promising because this one has got a lot of green undertone. This is very red, and these two are pretty much like the only shades that I probably could use. And the banana shade looks great, but it's very chalky. And this peachy shade right here is a little bit too peachy. I don't really want to ruin this makeup, but I think I'm going to dab here. Oh, nothing's coming into the brush. Weird. So I'm going to dab a little bit here and maybe dab once here because that's very pigmented. As long as you use a little bit of product, it's not too bad. To contour, I am going to try and use this shade right here. I'm just gonna go and mix these two. I'm not sure if it doesn't really swatch nicely, and it costs 1,200, which is very expensive. So if I were to choose, I would rather get the Everbilena blush duo because seriously, you get to kill two birds with the same stone. So this doesn't offer a lot of product. That's how far I can go with this product, to be honest. I have two eyeshadow palettes right here. I got this eyeshadow palette from For You Too, and I have this one here from Jazzy France. So this one is a customizable palette. So I purchased 3 individual eyeshadows, and then you get these pen for free. So I have these 3 shades right here, and this could be used as a blush and contour shade as well. So I'm actually going to pick up this one with my powder brush and maybe clean up a little bit of my contour. That worked out pretty good. What I'm actually going to do is pick up this pink shade right here. Ooh, it's very pigmented. And I'm going to use that as my transition shade. Oh, that's really nice. And I am going to use this shade right here and focus that on the outer V and then onto the crease as well. Oh, that's very pigmented. That's very pigmented. So I'm going to move on to this eyeshadow shade right here. I mean eyeshadow palette, and I'm going to pick up this one right here called Ninja on a smaller brush and focus that on the outer V. Oh my god, that is so pigmented. And then I'm going to use a different brush to blend that. That eyeshadow is pretty blendable. Lilac. I'm going to use a brush first. See how pigmented this eyeshadow is? Ooh, that's so pretty. It doesn't really show up that great with the brush, so I'm going to... Ooh, that's a lot better. So what I'm going to do is use the shade Time, which is this one right here, on the same finger. And this one's a little bit darker, so I'm going to use that to blend this bit. Go back to the blender brush. Since I want a little bit more fun and edge, I am going to pick up this shade right here called Ivory on the brush, and I am going to line the top of my crease, create like a cut crease almost. Oh, that's so pretty. And then I'm going to pack a little bit more of lilac. For lower lash line, I am going to go back and use this shade to blend, and a little bit of the brown, a little bit of the black called Ninja. And for the lower lash line, I want to use something colorful, so I am going to start by dipping it in the shade right here called Mimosa, and I'm going to apply that on the inner part of my lower lash line. For the middle part, I'm going to use this shade right here. For the outer part, I am going to use this shade right here. For inner corner highlight, I am going to use this shade right here called Lemonade on a different brush. Ooh, that is so pretty. And here is my eye makeup look. For the brow bone highlight, I am gonna go and use the matte shade from the Jazzy Trio palette. And just for mascara today, I have this mascara from Everbilena, and this is the Duo Mascara, which has the primer and the mascara. So we're going to start off by applying the primer. See how it will go and move on to the mascara. This mascara doesn't give a lot of volume. It gives a lot of length though. It's very natural. Personally, I still feel like my Essence mascara is a lot better. So I'll just quickly hop off camera, apply some lashes, and we'll be back. Here is my final look with the lashes on. I personally quite like it. So now I don't have any highlighter with me, so what I'm going to do is actually mix the shade right here and the Ivory shade. So this one's Mimosa and this one is Ivory. So I'm going to mix those two to create a nice highlight shade. This will be very glittery, but oh well. I'm just gonna quickly spritz my face because it's looking a little bit too dull. For the lips, I am going to put on this Nichido Ultra Stay Matte Liquid Lip, and this one is in the shade Simply Nude. Now this looks a little bit too much for my eyeshadow look, but we'll see how it goes, and then I'll just put something else on top. So this smells really good and it has a moussey consistency. It looks a little bit too dark on my lips, so what I'm going to do is to pop on this Jeffree Star Butt Naked, and this one is a little bit peachy and lighter. This will just lighten up the lipstick a little bit. And for a little bit of gloss, I'll just put on this Paw lipstick because my lips is currently pretty dry at the moment and it's not looking cute. So just for that added gloss. Here is my final look. All in all, I actually quite like how this makeup look turned out. To sum up my favorite, definitely the eyeshadow palettes. These two are very pigmented, very blendable, and it's very cool and hip at the same time, so I could definitely make a lot of use out of this too. Second favorite is definitely the blush duo from Everbilena, because it gave me a nice bronze as well as making me look a little bit healthy, so it's pretty cool. And the fact that you have 2 in 1, so this is perfect. The FS powder is nice, but the thing is it has a little bit of gray slash neutral undertone to it, so I didn't really quite like that for my skin tone personally. Another favorite is this Nichido Ivory Glow Final Powder. This is great to brighten up your eyes, set your makeup, and it just gives like a nice veil of glow into the skin, which is great. Another favorite is the foundation, definitely. If you have oily skin, my oh my, this is a great foundation for you. It doesn't have a strong scent. It dries down to a very matte powdery finish, which I kind of like because it lessens the time of you setting your face. It's very compact, and yeah, the shade range is actually not too bad. I think they have about 7 shades, and most of them has got yellow undertone, which is a huge plus, especially in the Philippines. The primer is alright. I don't see a reason of it being amazing, but it did quite mattify my skin for one. It did create a great canvas for the foundation, but it's nothing too special, to be honest. It's just, for me, it's just another primer, and I would definitely pass on that. Concealer stick, this one is definitely not a concealer. This could easily pass as a foundation because it's very thick. It sinks into my fine lines. It basically enhances textures that I have underneath there. It's great, very creamy and very blendable, but I would not recommend this as a concealer. This brow pencil is great, except for the fact that it's very warm tone, very creamy and blendable. It's very pigmented. This brow set is actually not that bad. I like the fact that you have the lighter shade to kind of have that fade in the inner part of the eyebrow, and then the darker shade to kind of enhance your tail, so that's really nice. This one feels like the Australis Velour Matte Lip Cream. It has a moussey texture, it's very pigmented, it's great on the lips. Not very great for dry lips because it will definitely enhance the cracks and crevices of your mouth. My least favorite would have to be this contour palette, because honestly you pay so much for this contour thinking that it will be great, but none of the shades show up. Very hard to get into. The banana shade is very chalky, yeah, and it's very muddy too, so I would definitely skip on that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates, and I will catch you all in my next video. Bye!